What up, everybody, and welcome once again to this special episode of Tale of the Tape, brought to you by Gym Bag Entertainment. As always, it's your host, your boy Craig, here with my co-host,
your manic matchmaker, Michael Johnson.
Loving it. We have a special bonus episode for you today, coming straight out of the minds of us crazy people. And what we really always talk about a lot is fighters in the UFC who are really good, not out of their prime, but will never hold a title in UFC. So what we decided to do was take some of these fighters that we really like and tell us whether or not, not tell us whether or not, but tell y'all that we think they should go into UFC, to Bellator, and why it's a good move for them, and it's not just about being able to get wins. We're going to start off in the heavyweight division. In my first pick, Junior Dos Santos.
Junior Dos Santos, former champion, fantastic, still fighting, fantastic. Mm-hmm. I mean, just gets caught here and there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know if it's like a suspect chin.
I don't think it is. I think he gets caught by guys who have real power.
The times that he's been caught, it's always a big, nasty shot. You know, his fight IQ is super high. He hits super hard. You know, got a ton of experience. Like we said, former champion. But like you said, I don't see him holding the belt ever again. You know, not with the top 5 we have in the UFC now. He's damn near almost fought like all the top 5
exactly.
Now. And yeah, he's even said after his last fight, you know, that last loss, that he has to reassess things because where does he go? Do you want to continue to lose against the top 5? Or,
yeah.
You know,
or do you want to be just like the gatekeeper?
Right. I mean, but, you know, we got Ryan Bader, the heavyweight champion in Bellator.
Yeah.
I think Junior could put him out.
I'm pretty confident Junior would put him down.
But could he get hit with a big shot too? Yeah.
Everybody can.
But I think he could compete much higher in their top 5 than the UFC top 5 for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Another guy I like, not a big name here, but I think he would be very, very strong in Bellator, Ilir Latifi.
Ilir Latifi. Absolutely. You know, in UFC, he can't seem to decide whether he wants to be light heavyweight or heavyweight.
Yeah.
Definitely probably competes a little better at heavyweight. Fantastic grappler. Heavy puncher. You know, well-rounded skills. Yeah, probably would be top 5 in Bellator for sure. Absolutely. And, you know, kind of a veteran. You know, maybe getting up there in age. A guy I was thinking about, well, one guy up in age who could still compete well, like a Junior Dos Santos, former heavyweight champ, Andrei Arlovski.
Oh, yeah.
You know, still fighting at a super high level, but, you know, has a wealth of experience, championship experience, plus, you know, gets better all the time still, you know, and doesn't seem to be declining. Plus, he's been in any kind of fight you could ever think of, you know. So those types of guys would do well. Absolutely. I was thinking another one, Blagoy Ivanov.
Yeah.
Man can't be knocked out.
No.
You know, great wrestling.
Battle tested.
Heavy puncher. You know, has fought some big names in the UFC and, you know, got the bad end of some decision losses, you know. But, yeah, put him in Bellator. Maybe top 5. Maybe title challenger.
Even, title challenger, possible champ. The last guy on my list, kind of like just like a fly guy. He's young, because he's young. I think he could develop in Bellator really well. Maurice Green.
Maurice Green, I like. You know, he seems to be all over the place mentally. You know what I mean? And I think that's might be what holds him back because his skills are fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, I like that. I like that a lot actually. And I like him as a person in general, Maurice Green. Emotional guy, though, it seems. You know what I mean? That might get in his way a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but definitely could be far more successful. Top 10, maybe top 5 in Bellator for sure, you know?
I believe wholeheartedly a top 5 guy.
Those guys we named could be, you know, if they move to Bellator, could be the top guys of their heavyweight division. Absolutely.
And then we move on to the light heavyweight division. A guy who I think would be extremely popular and I think would run that division is Anthony Smith.
Anthony Smith definitely has to figure something out. I think that Bellator would be the move for him. You know, perennial top 5 UFC guy, but on the skid. Can't seem to break through these top 5 guys since his hard loss to Jones. Maybe that fight took something out of him. Maybe that Glover Teixeira loss, that beating he took something out of him. Because this last loss against Rakic showed that he would be probably better off for his career.
Yeah.
I think, and maybe even middleweight in Bellator.
Maybe
for Anthony Smith.
Either way, but you know what? Anthony Smith, to me, he looks like a champ.
I agree.
He looks like a champ.
His well-rounded skill set. The man, I mean, he talks with extreme intelligence too. I mean, great commentator as well.
I love his commentating.
So that would hurt if he was to. The only reason I wouldn't want him to go to Bellator is because then he wouldn't be a UFC commentator.
But he could be a Bellator commentator.
And their commentators need help.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing that they're lacking in. That would be, yeah. How many of them could also do it like they do in the UFC? And bring their commentating ability.
And Maurice Green is a character, and if he could do that as well, so just taking a step back into the heavyweight real quick. Maurice Green has personality,
and a lot of the attention that the UFC gets is because of the wider coverage. Pre-shows, post-shows, things like that. Detail on ESPN with Daniel Cormier, things like that brings a lot of attention to UFC. If Bellator was to do stuff like that in general, that would bring more attention to their fights for sure. Absolutely. And when you got 5 current fighters on the roster, that's made me watch the post show on the UFC before, just because I wanted to see Kamaru Usman give a breakdown, or Anthony Smith or Paul Felder.
Exactly.
What I mean? I like that stuff. Yeah, I agree. Like heavyweight in Bellator, we got that new champion, Zadim Nenkov. He just knocked out Ryan Bader and took his belt.
Yeah.
And he's a young killer. It looks a little too muscular, and I don't know if you know, but Bellator does not use USADA. They only test their fighters randomly within their own organization.
Oh.
They are not run by USADA.
Wow.
There's been plenty of fighters who've come up on the losing end and complained that their opponent, that they think their opponent for sure was on some performance-enhancing stuff.
Interesting.
Last guy that just got knocked out by Michael Chandler, who, Dana White even said it could be in a possible conversation to come to the UFC. He swears that, that he knows people that know some information about him being on performance-enhancing stuff. He was saying for sure, he doesn't want to go to the UFC, then he'll have to be under USADA,
Yeah. That's a tough one.
So with that being said, how many of these guys could come from the UFC and maybe do a little better in Bellator because there ain't as strict restrictions?
One person who can.
Right.
John Jones.
Yeah, right.
No, I don't want to diss him like that.
As far as light heavyweights, we said Anthony Smith. I definitely had somebody else in mind. I'm trying to remember exactly. Volkan Ozdemir,
yes.
I think, could run the division.
Run it.
Run it. We've seen him get catapulted to a title shot in the UFC. Didn't work out for him against DC. And then he's had to try to fight his way up the pack. Doing well, but could be a knockout artist in Bellator.
I think he could run it.
Another
guy I like, guy who's getting a little bit older, time for some money making, exciting, looks like a champ, Thiago Santos.
Yeah, you've been through some wars. You've been through with the champ.
I think he's one of the most dangerous fighters that John Jones faced.
I believe, with John Jones's move to heavyweight and him vacating the title, I think, Thiago obviously should stay in the UFC right now, to me, because he's got a chance at being that title holder.
Well, I mean, I don't know who they have going up against Dominic Reyes, but to me it would only make sense that it was...
It's going to be Jan Blachowicz for the title. Yeah.
Jan Blachowicz is heavyweight.
No, Jan Blachowicz is light heavyweight. He knocked out Corey Anderson, and he was going to be the next person to face.
Oh, wait, my bad. Jan Blachowicz. You know what I was thinking of? In my head, you had me thinking Blagoy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my bad. Jan because Jan Blachowicz earned his title shot. That's right. So next in line to me, in my mind, would got to be Thiago Santos.
And he is already signed to fight Glover Teixeira after Glover beating up Anthony Smith the way he did.
Yeah.
Which is also a good fight. And I do agree that those are the top 4 men right now in light heavyweight. So I like the idea of having them 4 fight it out, you know.
And then the winner of each one fight each other.
Let Dominic Reyes and Jan go for the title. You know, the winner is the title holder. And, you know, Glover and Thiago, whoever wins that is the next shot.
Nice.
You know?
I'm with it. I'm with it. All right, now we have the middleweight division, and even though he's on a coming off a big win, I like Derek Brunson.
Yeah, Brunson, you know, had a terrible showing against Israel Adesanya on his way to the title. You know, rebounded well. You know, he's faced almost all the guys in the top 5 in the middleweight division. You know, he hasn't faced like Darren Till. You know, because Till just made his way to the middleweight. Yeah. But besides that, he's lost to like all top 3, and you know, but can beat everybody else.
Yeah, he can beat everybody else.
I've seen the whooping he put on the young kid Edmund Shabazian in the last fight. You know, what a great performance by Brunson. Shows that he's still super top level, and the Bellator needs 185 fighters. Right now, that championship is vacant.
Really?
You know?
Wow.
And yet, I mean, what better to bolster a weight class than, you know, in a weight class where you don't even have a champion?
Exactly.
You know?
And I think Derek Brunson could come over there and really just elevate the division, like bring a spark to it, and maybe even, you know, be the reigning champ.
Absolutely. I like Chris Weidman to go to Bellator. You know, maybe because it could be time, but also because he's not that old. He just hit the super skid, but then he rebounded with a nice win over a quality opponent last time. You know, he could be top 5 for sure.
I think I agree with you. I feel like he finishes this run to try to get to a title shot. Yep. If he gets stopped at any point, then Bellator makes the most sense. And once again, a guy who could go in there and just dominate the division.
Or a guy who can't break the top 3 of the UFC middleweights, Kelvin Gastelum.
Love that pick right there.
You know,
Kelvin Gastelum was a guy I had in my mind as well. Excellent boxer, exciting fighter, gritty, and he's not afraid of nobody. He'll go head to head. Gave Israel Adesanya his best like competition.
I think so.
Yeah. Like he proved to everybody that Israel could get put through a 5-round war, and I don't know, was it 4 or did it go 5?
It was in the 5th. Yeah,
go through a 5-round war and still continue to do his thing. So I love that a lot. And another guy I've always loved him as a fighter, and I think he's just like he missed his shot at being the top is Uriah Hall.
Yeah, and I think with him it was a mental thing or something in his personal life because he seemed to have all the ability.
They were calling him the new Anderson Silva.
He did seem to have all the ability and still shows that, you know, the flashes of the brilliant ability. I think, you know, there was something off in the middle of his career. You know, and it always makes me think like a personal issue, you know, something with your mental, you know.
Do you believe in like the possibility of just a fighter having just bad luck?
Oh,
absolutely. Like you're always getting caught or like just missing a decision and stuff like that?
I totally think so. You know, because we talk about anybody could be knocked out. You know, it don't matter how good your chin is, one shot could still put you out.
Yeah.
So you look at a guy like Chris Weidman, you know, who ripped through a division, you know, and then gets KO'd successively. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And or even and then responds and ends up getting a win. You know, did he get, you know, unlucky a couple times in a row and get knocked out?
The knockout from Yoel Romero like blew his head open, but like it was kind of like a knee of chance. Now, not taking anything away from Yoel's reaction to throw the knee. It wasn't like, oh, I think I might throw a knee right here, and he happened to duck down. No, it was a reaction knee.
Yeah.
But like, you know, had you like thought like maybe he might have done something better. I don't know. I felt like even though it was a skilled knee.
Right. You make one mistake and you can
get knocked out.
You know, I mean, you look at Cody Garbrandt. suffers
Another
3
guy.
KOs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
in
of
a
bad
row.
decisions. You know what I mean? And a lot of that, like, you know, him losing to Dillashaw is him getting bested. But, like, him getting knocked out by Pedro Munoz was just a bad decision of trying to throw haymakers.
And he got knocked out by Dillashaw twice.
Right.
And I feel like, personally for me, the first one, I think in the first one, because he got Dillashaw, but didn't have enough time left in the round to finish him off.
Right.
So, like, he almost won that fight.
Right.
And then I feel like one of the things I hated with Cody Garbrandt is I felt like he got away from what he was good at. Mm-hmm. He put on the most perfect clinic against Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, absolutely.
He unlocked the code. Nobody could do it. And he said, "Wait a minute. I mean, I'm speaking from my own personal view of the fight, but I said this. I don't know if you remember. I said you can't chase Cruz. You got to make Cruz chase you because his funky movement doesn't work when he's coming at you.
Right.
It's when he's evading and then countering.
Yeah.
And Cody Garbrandt did that perfect. He made him come to him, and he picked him apart masterfully.
Showed masterful work, and then, you know, gets KO'd 3 times in a row.
Trying to get into brawls and fighting with emotion.
So, I mean, yeah, you can make mistakes and you know, just be unlucky.
Yeah.
You know?
So,
but that's the name of the game. So you got to minimize the mistakes every single time. Mm-hmm. You know, every single time is like the first time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
For real, every fight is your first fight.
It has to be treated like that, you know, or you end up getting too comfortable. But yeah, those things are more likely to happen if you're making mistakes or being too comfortable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Fighting emotionally.
But yeah, so you could just get unlucky for sure, you know, or you can get super lucky, you know, and everything lands.
Exactly.
You know? But is that luck or is that better preparation? I mean,
who knows?
Who's to say?
Exactly. All right, in the welterweight division, you know, I picked this guy partly because I think that he's never going to make it to the top anymore. He's made it there, but I don't think he'll make it again. Secondly, I think it's time for him to rejoin his brother, and that's Anthony Pettis. Showtime, baby.
I love that. I love it at welterweight, too, because that's always been my favorite weight for him. Mm-hmm. You know, I think he fights much better, bigger. Great skills, you know. You know, this could be one of the guys we're talking about. Just, you know, unlucky through a lot of string of losses. Had you know, bad things happen to him in fights. You know, with his own body. You know, knees give out, hands breaking, things like that. Can't continue just because of that. You know, I've never seen him brutalized and finished because he just can't keep up. You know what I mean? Like, he's never been out of the fight. You know what I mean? Like.
Correct.
There's been times he's been finished, but it's usually
only once.
Yeah, but it's only TKO, or like, you know, he can't get off the stool because his hand was broken. You know what I mean?
Who was that against?
There was that might have been when he went down to featherweight though, when he fought Holloway.
Well, Holloway he got finished because he dropped. And Holloway made a big deal.
He was sitting up against the fence, but still he didn't go out.
Yeah, he got TKO'd.
He was just taking
but at that point, he had never been finished in a fight. Anytime he had lost it,
and
gone
that
to
was,
decision.
I think, that he caught quite a few injuries in that one. Yeah. And then when he was fighting, I don't know who, he wouldn't let him continue because of the hand. And it was his coach, to Duke Rufus, who was like, no, I'm not gonna let you fight with a broken hand.
And that's good because a broken hand, continuing to fight can prolong the injury, longer recovery time.
Just end your career.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, he'll be super successful. I think that's smart of him. That'll be smart of him.
Yeah.
You know?
He'll make more money.
I think so.
He'll be a star, not just a champion, but he'll get back on a Wheaties box.
Yeah.
And he could bring some popularity. I think he'd bring some genuine popularity to Bellator. It's definitely a good move for him.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic move.
Who you got?
Welterweight.
I think there's a lot of guys in welterweight that fit that bill.
There's a lot that could be super, super successful, I think. You know, big standout for me, who's always been super competitive, former title holder, not at welterweight. He was a title holder at lightweight, but now fights at welterweight and has had the best tail end of his career at welterweight, Rafael dos Anjos.
Yes. I love that. Rafael dos Anjos to Bellator.
Had some thin losses at welterweight. You know what I mean?
But has, like, really put it to some dudes.
Always been there, you know? Like, even in the when he was up for the interim title. Even
Yeah,
at welterweight,
he fought for it.
Colby Covington, and fought well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, Colby with the decision, but not as one-sided as people make it out to be.
No.
You know,
and his loss to Leon Edwards, like that was an awesome fight.
Right.
He looked great in a loss. He looked so good, but he's just out of that realm. Yeah. He goes to Bellator, top of the food chain.
And I think that his welterweight is the best for him because his speed translates and his striking is nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In having a smaller frame, it suits him well against welterweights, but he doesn't have the power that he did when he was fighting at lightweight, where he used to finish guys and stuff. You know?
Exactly.
And I think that in Bellator that some of the welterweights are not as big and strong. I mean, like Colby Covington is massive at 170. Kamaru Usman is huge.
And he'd be fighting the likes of Michael Venom Page and Diego Lima. Yeah, Diego Lima. I mean, I think he comes into that division and he rocks house.
Right. With that experience, championship experience. Yeah, absolutely.
The last guy on my list for the welterweight division is a guy that I just want to see out of the UFC because I don't like him there anymore, and that's Tyron Woodley.
I like it.
He ain't got nothing for the UFC anymore.
And I think we'll really find out in his next matchup here with Colby Covington coming up. I think that's bigger than what he deserves.
Yeah, way bigger.
To get a fight against Covington now, as much as I don't like Covington, he is
This
top
is the
tier.
only fight I ever wanted to see Colby Covington win.
Right. I mean, he is top tier, and I don't think Tyron, especially with that last performance against Gilbert Burns, it doesn't seem like a physical thing, kind of like what I was saying.
Oh, yeah.
I think Tyron really...
He doesn't like to fight from behind.
He doesn't like, as much as he says he likes to be an underdog, whatever. Like, no, you don't, because you haven't done nothing in the last 2 times.
You like to be called the underdog, but you don't like to actually be it in the fight.
Yeah, and another guy doesn't like to get hurt, doesn't like to get hit, but shown incredible ability. I mean, 4 defenses of the welterweight belt, stop some big-time names, you know what I mean? Still a great fighter. And maybe the lesser organization or just a new organization is what he would need to revitalize his mental game. Because that's definitely what it is with him, is a mental issue.
Exactly. I think he would rise up over there, and I think the lack of maybe a little, I don't know. It'd be one of 2 things. Either the lower level of competition might spring some confidence in him, or we find out that Tyron Woodley lost it after he beat Robbie Lawler.
And that could absolutely be it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So,
his last good win could be, the Darren Till fight.
Yeah, the Darren Till fight. That's the last time he looked good, the last time he was worth watching, and after that. I mean, because, I remember at first, giving him respect for his 2 Wonder Boy fights, but now, seeing him further, no.
Okay.
Yeah. You could just bring her down. Say hi to Penny, everybody.
Yeah. They can't see me, Penny.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on. So, now let's move on into the lightweight division. And I got a name here that I think would be the king. In my opinion, I think he'd be the king of Bellator, Kevin Lee.
Absolutely. They do have some decent lightweights, but they have, what's it, Patricio Ferreira, or is he the lightweight? No, he's a bantamweight featherweight. I think the lightweight might be vacant. I'm not so sure.
I don't know.
But
No, the guy is feather and lightweight because he said he said he could beat Khabib or Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah, the bantam is, I think, I think they have a bantamweight champion. Yeah. But anyways, I think it's Patricio Pitbull or whatever, and decent fighter. He's got knockout power, but the technical ability that I've seen from the lightweights of the UFC, like that dude won't be able to compete in the UFC, and he said he'll beat the UFC champions. It's crazy.
Crazy talk.
Kevin Lee, I feel like could strike with that dude for sure, and his wrestling is
so good.
Is definitely beyond his. The well-roundedness of Kevin Lee would earn him that title. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, fantastic pick. There's so many lightweights that are so good, and that it's hard for them to break the top 5.
Strong division.
Right. With Khabib at the top, and then Gaethje and Ferguson and Poirier, and them guys need to stay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then as you go down, what about Paul Felder?
I like Paul Felder. See,
he's
once
trying
again,
so hard to break that top 5.
Yeah. My only problem with that is Paul Felder is actually one of my favorite announcers.
He's like one of my favorite commentators,
yeah.
for sure. I mean, they're even using him up at the pay-per-view level now.
Yeah.
Like,
he's so good.
Because he's that good.
That's the only reason why I wouldn't want... Like, it's like, he doesn't really fight anymore. He's kind of backed off from the fighting. But I just love him so much as a commentator. I'd be upset to lose him. But it is a great pick.
Yeah, he's still, deciding what to do after the Dan Hooker fight, which... Also, I wanted to bring his name up, because now he's had 2 hard wars against guys that are, floating around the top 5 of the lightweight division, and he's narrowly got by them. Yeah. You know what I mean?
To even say that Paul Felder actually might have won that fight.
Right, because, at the time, I was definitely screaming for Paul. I'd seen it his way, but... too close to call. Yeah. Not upset with Dan Hooker winning that, but could he stand out completely in Bellator? Absolutely.
100%.
Can he break the top 5 in the UFC? That remains to be seen.
I feel like his next fight should be like the likes of Dustin Poirier to find out.
Right.
But I don't really know. One thing I will say, kind of like off the opposite direction of what you just previously said, is... I actually like the idea of Tony Ferguson in Bellator for the sole purpose of that I don't think he has that championship caliber fight in him anymore.
I can agree. When you take a beating like that, it's hard to come back from.
Yeah.
That lasts. That will follow him for the rest of his career. The beating he took against Gaethje.
100%.
I don't know that he can compete with the likes of a Gaethje. Well, I think the matchup against Khabib was much better for Tony, but I still think it was like a wing and a prayer submission type of thing.
Exactly. It would have been a grappler's delight.
Or he could catch him with a shot on the feet because he's the better striker. But that's only with Khabib. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the other guys in the top of the lightweight, he's not the superior striker.
And Dustin Poirier, the steps he's made.
I'm saying he's not going to be the superior striker even against Poirier. Never mind Gaethje. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a tough one. And Tony Ferguson was actually supposed to fight Dustin Poirier, and that fight's not happening. It was going to actually happen at UFC 254, and that fight got shut down. I'm not sure what the exact reasoning for it was, but...
Yeah, last I heard, it was Poirier's camp that confirmed that it's not going to happen, but I didn't see why.
But the reason why is unknown.
And I can't think it's because Poirier is not willing to fight Tony Ferguson.
Oh, no.
He wants that fight.
He wants that fight.
It still puts his name up higher.
Because it shotguns him right up to the top again.
It makes him #1 contender to beat Tony Ferguson.
Exactly. And
especially with him already holding a win over Gaethje.
And I think Tony Ferguson's personality fits right in at Bellator.
That interestingness of his style of fighting that goes along with the way he talks himself up in the media, it's instant attention. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't love to see Tony Ferguson fight, no matter if he's going to lose, or to see a press conference with him?
Exactly.
Absolutely. Or a weigh-in, or anything.
Bringing up baseball.
Yeah.
I think he brings some serious notoriety to Bellator, and he brings some fun. I think he'll be entertaining.
And they need a fun character.
Yeah,
that's part of it too. Absolutely.
I love it. I threw Drew Dober's name in there, but that was just kind of like
because of a younger guy with a high level skill set who could build himself even easier in Bellator than he can in the UFC.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll be an immediate rise.
Yeah. So I like that. Now we move into the featherweight division, and I threw in a name that I think would surprise people that I'm saying his name, but because I think that he would be, once again, a shining star, and that's Brian Ortega.
I can't disagree. He's still at the top of the heap.
He's a top 5 guy.
Right. But again, like what we're saying is not because they're not skilled enough for the UFC, but that they would do much better for their career.
And why not make Bellator a more skilled division?
Right. It can't hurt, you know what I mean, to have your competition be better. Because it only bolsters the UFC, because then the UFC's got to be that much better too.
And it makes people want to go to Bellator to fight these high-level guys who didn't leave the UFC because they're not good enough. They left the UFC so they can make more money in Bellator as champions, and that they can, like, you're actually developing Bellator's brand. You're becoming the reason why people want to watch Bellator.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with both of those belts meaning almost the same thing, like the UFC belt or in a Bellator championship.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with them being the same level. I mean, for years and years now, we've done that with boxing. You know what I mean? And what about then if they're the same level? Then nobody would complain about cross-promotion fights.
Exactly,
you know?
Exactly. No one would say it was unfair,
right.
unworthy, or whatever. And you know what? I just had this comparison in my mind. It's kind of like the idea, like, you know, if you think of Bellator, and maybe they're not even this low, but if you think of Bellator like the 3-4 year ago Cleveland Browns, right? And if your players like Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, and Baker Mayfield, who are of that level, of that high level competition, Austin Hooper, and you come over to Cleveland, and now you become a playoff contender, possibly maybe Super Bowl contender. Yeah. It's not that you dropped levels; it's that you made another team.
Yeah, you built another organization up. Absolutely.
And made people now want to come there and fight because they're seeing high level talent coming over to Bellator. We want, as true fight fans, right. We just want more high level.
And it's only good for the fans because we just want to see high level competition.
Yeah,
that's all.
And spread it out.
I don't care what banner you fight under.
Nope.
As long as the production is good.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
And yeah.
So for me, it all works out, and I love it. Brian Ortega, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, I like Brian Ortega. I think, you know, he's still like top of the heap. You know what I mean? I was gonna say Ricardo Lamas until he retired.
Yeah.
Because I think he could damn near rule the featherweight division.
Maybe come out of retirement to take over Bellator.
Yeah, you know, that was when I heard him saying, you know, talks of possible retiring. I'm like, how come you ain't thinking about switching, you know, organization?
Especially because you can make some money over there.
But I think he's just done fighting.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, featherweights. It's getting a little thin.
It is.
In the featherweight division,
pretty thin.
You know, you got guys bouncing around a little bit, like what about Brian Kelleher, who's right now jumping between like bantamweight and featherweight, and he's winning in both divisions.
He's winning in both divisions.
He's taking shorter notice fights at featherweight.
But will he ever be a champ?
Right, because he's that guy that will step in and fight whoever, whenever. Mm-hmm. You know, they changed his opponent 3 times. He said, whatever.
Yeah,
I'll still fight this
I'll still fight him.
You know what I mean?
I like it.
Super respectful, but then also knows when to call somebody names and call somebody out. Like Sean O'Malley was talking about the bantamweight division, like he would run through. And Brian Kelleher was one of the first dudes to step up and said, Dana White, feed him to me.
Feed him.
And he wouldn't, because he knew it would be a problem for O'Malley's rise. You know,
I hear that. And
but yeah, Kelleher could shine.
I think so. I like Jeremy Stephens.
Oh, Jeremy Stephens.
Jeremy Stephens isn't going to be the champ, but in Bellator might be a whole nother story.
Might be the hardest hitting featherweight ever. You know, like you can't erase that power.
No,
it's crazy well rounded.
Ground game is disgusting.
Right, crazy endurance. You know, the gas tank never suspect. Takes damage like a champ. Yeah, it would only be somebody, you know, like either getting lucky and hitting them with a big shot, or just outclassing them. But he's super high level. He would do super well. Top 5 at least, if not top 3 Bellator for sure.
I felt like you made a case earlier. You made a case earlier for a guy you just mentioned, O'Malley.
Yeah, Sean O'Malley. You know, he should fight at featherweight. I've said that since like the first time I seen him, even on the Contender Series. You know, he's super tall and super lean to be fighting at bantamweight. That was the problem with the ankle for sure. You know, but yeah, let the kid fight at featherweight, and he's super rangy. You know, a bunch of different strikes. Yeah, I think he'll be super successful. And who knows, this could be the screeching halt to his career right now. After that, after what happened in his last UFC fight, you know what I mean, or at least a screeching halt to his rise to fame.
It definitely puts a damper on his rise, but I feel like, you know, it could be, you know, you could say the damaged knee kind of took away from his ability to take over the fight. A lot of things can be said. Or it could be said that, you know, he rose too quick.
Because the only documented damage is a sprained ankle.
Yeah, the sprained ankle. So
against Cheeto Vera, if you're gonna give up for a sprained ankle,
exactly. So
that don't look well for you. But
that is a problem there too.
But I mean, he was fighting a straight killer.
Yeah.
So maybe, you know, like you said, maybe they jumped him up too fast. You know, and he hurt himself before in a fight in the UFC too.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
And you can also say that his ability to end fights so early, catching guys really good, but like because of his ability to have feints, maybe, you know, having not been through a war was also a disadvantage to his ability.
And who knows if he conditions enough, you know what I mean, thinking that he won't face that type of stuff. Exactly. You know what I mean? I think that's a problem with a lot of young fighters for sure, not doing enough old school stuff. You know, and but super set of skills that he has offensively. You know what I mean? And I definitely think he should fight at featherweight anyways.
All right, we'll see what happens with that. And then in the bantamweight division, I think I have this name because I feel like his name gets forgotten, but I really like this fighter a lot. Rob Font.
Rob Font, you know, ton of UFC fights, I feel like now. Always pushing the pace, you know, super motor. Never makes bad mistakes. You know, he keeps the fight, you know, nice and technical, and doesn't get wild. You know, maybe not super exciting.
Yeah.
You know, but a workman fighter. Always gets better, always improves, you know, nice skill set, absolutely. Doesn't stand out in the UFC, but
would absolutely stand out.
His character may be a little less, like he doesn't, you know, push himself too much character-wise, a little soft-spoken, but his skills would do the talking as far as Bellator, like, you know.
Yep. You know what? Know whose name just came to me? Just not, actually his name didn't come to me because I can't think of his name. I don't want to see him leave the UFC, but I feel like he would just run through Bellator. What's the dude, the most gangster dude in the UFC?
The most gangster?
Perry, Mike Perry.
Oh, Mike Perry.
Platinum Mike Perry. No coaching, no corner. Just killing it in Bellator.
Yeah, and he would be
what weight class is he? Welter?
Yeah. Oh. And he's a big 170 too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. He was just like, his last fight was great.
Hits hard, well-rounded grappling. Like,
and needs money.
Right.
Clearly, needs money.
Gotta pay them taxes.
Not only pay them taxes, but he's about to have to pay some lawyer fees.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So
but even before that, his last post-fight interview, he was like, "They don't tell you gotta pay in this country and then come back and pay in the United States." He's like, "Man, I gotta get out these tax problems." And that's true though.
Yeah.
They tax you twice or three times sometimes on your money. You know what I mean? Because it's got to come, like you're fighting in Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi's gonna tax you. But then you're fighting for an American organization, so America's going to tax you when you get home.
I didn't realize it was like that.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Interesting.
Because making money in Abu Dhabi, so you have to pay them taxes. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And it's whatever their rate is, though.
Really?
It's their country.
So if it's like a 50% rate...
It's their country. You know what I mean? What are you going to say?
I would never fight in a country that had a high tax rate, yeah.
But
I'm assuming that the countries that they pick have reasonable tax rates. Yeah.
But then you know your organization, the UFC, is based out of the United States, so they tax you again in the U.S.
That's tough. That's real tough.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about the flyweight division, the men's flyweight division. The first name that came to mind is a guy who has always been in the talk of championship contention, but won't ever really get there. Jussier Formiga.
Juicy Formiga, great jiu-jitsu, good Muay Thai, always competitive. Just, had bad fights against the top guys. Couldn't get through Figueiredo, couldn't get through Benavidez, you know what I mean? That shows you what you need to know. You're not going to get the title.
Exactly.
Because Figueiredo keeps getting better. You know what I mean?
Just keeps elevating.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I can see, he could be holding that belt for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, Formiga.
Although, there is a man I
good.
think who could take it from him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Ooh,
Damn, now I can't even say his name. That young boy, he beat Kai Kara France in a war. He has that creepy face, like that.
Is that Ascar?
No, he's like Mexican.
Oh, are we talking about Brandon Moreno?
Brandon Moreno, I love him. Babyface Brandon Moreno.
Assassin or whatever he calls himself.
I love Brandon Moreno, and he is only getting better and better and better.
I believe he's the one that beat Formiga last time.
Yes,
yeah,
he beat Formiga
in a stand-up war.
And we said that he should fight Joey Benavidez for the title, and then the winner of that would have to fight Davison Figueiredo because he didn't make weight.
Yeah.
And then they ended up giving them the rematch.
And now they're talking about Cody Garbrandt going down to 125 to face Figueiredo.
And I think that's unfair.
Yeah, that's unfair.
That's unfair.
Yeah. What about good old Tim Elliott?
Love that idea there. Tim Elliott is a great choice to go in there because he's exciting. Mm-hmm. He brings excitement to Bellator.
Super interesting. His fight style's interesting. Honorably spoken, always nice to his opponents, even though he gets crazy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Always exciting. Super well-rounded. His ground game is incredible.
Never has a boring fight.
No.
And I feel like...
I think he loses because he stands and bangs too much.
Yeah.
Take people down
and he's being so wild sometimes he makes mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, he controls every fight where he gets to the ground. If he would just take people down, he could be a killer.
I mean...
But he likes to be exciting.
He put Mighty Mouse in some, like, crazy danger on the ground in their fight for the title when he won the Ultimate Fighter Championship. So that was pretty dope. Another guy's name I like, because I like him also from the Ultimate Fighter, is Matt Schnell.
I like Matt Schnell. He'd be a young guy, a little unknown as far as, like, the global MMA scene. It would bring a lot of big fans in. I was thinking Ray Borg. Ray Borg was talking about retiring recently, but he's 27 years old.
Yeah, man.
And then he said he went home and got messages from everybody and was like, "Okay, I'm not retiring. I'm sorry." Because they were like, he said, mostly his old students and stuff were like, "Come on, coach, what are you doing? You're way too young." Great wrestling. I mean, dominates people with his wrestling.
Yeah.
He seems to have trouble making weight sometimes, but so he could be bantamweight or flyweight. You know what I mean?
Maybe even try to rule both divisions.
And dominate in both. Yeah.
I like Ray Borg. I feel like that's a truly inspired pick right there. Yeah, I like it a lot.
I like that one a lot.
Women's featherweight division. They do have it over there, and there's only one name to me that really stands out, and that is Jermaine Duramity. And the reason why I say that is because she was the featherweight champ in UFC, was supposed to fight Chris Cyborg, got a little scared, but then Chris Cyborg gets banged out by Amanda Nunes, and standing up, Jermaine was the better fighter against Amanda Nunes.
Jermaine had Nunes' number standing up.
Yeah. Handedly had her number.
Absolutely fantastic, incredible striker. Probably the best female striker. You know what I mean?
Hands down. I feel like the only person you could put in that conversation, I believe, is gonna be Joanna. When you say female strikers,
right? Well, I also think that Shevchenko, like Valentina Shevchenko, I think her striking ability is beyond Amanda Nunes. But I think that Amanda was able to beat her with grappling and being able to weather the danger.
But when I say that, when I say striking,
she was able to eat shots from Valentina because of Valentina's being undersized.
Yeah,
you know.
But also Valentina's great. I think when you combine her kicking and her punching, I think that makes her a well-rounded, all-around striker. But when you talk about boxing, I don't know if she is on the level of your Joannas, your Amandas, your Jermaine de randomies. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I just feel like in watching the Amanda Nunes and Shevchenko fights that Shevchenko was the better striker in those fights, but Amanda found a way to win. Same way she did with Jermaine. You know what I mean?
Oh, what she did to Jermaine was beautiful.
And that was the only way to win, too.
It was.
Because that striking is serious. And we know Cyborg being the belt holder in Bellator.
I think Jermaine could take it from her.
That could be the way for Jermaine to hold the championship.
Because Jermaine took punches from Amanda.
Right.
So you could take punches from Cyborg.
Right. But we know she's not going to beat Amanda because Amanda will wrestle her again.
Yeah. All day.
And Jermaine is far outmatched with Amanda's ground.
Completely.
Yeah.
Like, not even close. So I think Jermaine going over to Bellator, she becomes instant champ.
Absolutely.
And
I would like to see the matchup with the former champ there, Julia Budd. Like, another great striker. That would be a good matchup with her and Jermaine.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I like that. I mean,
it's a depleted division. There's not a lot of people you could send over.
I mean, almost you could pick anybody but Amanda Nunes because, like, they're probably not going to beat her.
Yeah, they're not going to beat her.
But then they go to Bellator and they have a possible chance at a title.
Yeah,
it's
tough because
we've seen Felicia Spencer fight Chris Cyborg in the UFC.
Yeah,
she couldn't take her down, and ate punch after punch, so
ate him.
So that probably doesn't translate her too well to go.
Yeah, I feel like Jermaine's the only one who can go over there and win. I feel like the likes of Megan Anderson or what's her name again?
Spencer.
Felicia Spencer. I think they have the exact same career in Bellator as they have in UFC.
Right, 2 and 3.
Yeah, Jermaine goes over there, and it could be one of those things where Jermaine wins, Cyborg wins, Jermaine wins.
Because, I mean, it's crazy, but Megan might be able to land a shot against Amanda. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying that she has a better chance than Jermaine did.
Yeah.
But she's got maybe close to the same chance. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't think her striking is as good as Jermaine's, but her grappling is for sure better.
And she's a bigger fighter than Amanda.
So that gives her a little bit more chance, especially because I do like Megan's ability to strike, like, exiting the clinch.
Yeah.
And if she can stop Amanda from taking her down and then be in a clinch position and separate, she could land there too. She lands well there.
Yeah.
So Megan Anderson actually does have some tools that play to her advantage, you know what I mean, in this fight against Amanda. So she definitely should probably stay UFC, you know what I mean?
I feel that part I agree.
That might be the featherweight rivalry.
Yeah, and what if Amanda Nunes decides after reigning for so long that she just wants to stick to, like, bantamweight and then let somebody else take the featherweight division? Then you have a Megan Anderson, Felicia Spencer battle.
Right. I mean, after those names, I mean, you could pick whoever from the UFC featherweight division and they could be successful in Bellator.
Exactly.
But can they beat Cyborg? We know Jermaine could, though.
Yeah, Jermaine is that name right there.
Yeah.
Jermaine is the name. All right, and then we move down to the bantamweight division.
Which they don't have a bantamweight division in Bellator.
So we could start that bantamweight division with two people who I really love, Holly Holm and Raquel Pennington.
Absolutely. Raquel and Holly, both solid fighters. Raquel with solid wrestling, solid boxing. Holly with great boxing and, Muay Thai. Absolutely. They'd both be great. And, I mean, they both actually can make featherweight. They both fought there before. Those are two fighters that could move their way to Bellator and still be super successful.
Super successful.
Raquel's probably not going to be at all any more successful than she is. Holly, it's possible that she could rise again. You know what I mean? But, those are good picks.
I like it.
Those would be fantastic.
Women's flyweight division. First name that came to mind was a girl we talked about in the previous episode, Roxanne Modafferi.
Roxanne, yep. I think she's a strength disadvantage in the UFC. I think that's a big thing for her. And she does love to fight. She loves to compete. She doesn't seem like she loves to hurt people. You know what I mean?
She doesn't.
She doesn't like strike with.
I don't feel like she's afraid to hurt people. She just doesn't enjoy hurting people.
Well, yeah. You can see, especially when people strike, when they strike with bad intentions of really hurting you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She never I've never seen her fight like that. You know what I mean?
I
It's
get
just
you.
A plot along, go for the
Point-
win type of
point
thing.
winning,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know what I mean? She'll go for a finish if she can, but it's not like she's not trying to damage it.
Yeah. She's not putting everything into any
Fantastic character. Would be great for, to build up just with her, the attention she gets. Super funny, charismatic. I'd hate to see her leave the UFC, but it might be time. And she could be more successful.
Yeah.
She's under 500 right now in the UFC. 3-4.
Wow.
She's on the losing end. If she loses this one, she's got coming Saturday. We might see her for sure in there.
And Bellator is, I think that's just a perfect fit. I don't know, I like it a lot.
What about the other Shevchenko, Antonina? She can't seem to break the top 10.
Nope.
She's in the top 15, but she's having trouble with the top 10. Got beat by her last opponent.
She'd be a star.
Yeah.
She'd be a star.
Absolutely, I think. I think so. She was, she could be a title holder. Fantastic stand-up. She fights almost just like her sister, standing up.
Mm-hmm.
She's lacking in the ground game. That's what gets her beat.
And I think maybe a little bit in the strength department as well.
Right, that's true.
I do like her. Another name I like is Jillian Roberts.
Yeah, I think another one that doesn't have ill intentions, like towards opponents. You know what I mean? Doesn't like to get hit. We seen that in the Macy Barber fight when she got hit with a hard shot. She was like, "Oh shit, I don't."
She
like
just
that.
enjoys the competition.
Yeah, and she's a jiu-jitsu person. You know what I mean? She's always been tapping people out. Check out her social media though. I like her Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like her a lot actually. I'm a fan of hers. She's starting to get finishes in the UFC. She got a TKO a couple fights ago. So, but yeah, young star that could maybe not break the top 10 of the UFC, or could be a champ in Bellator.
Could be a champ in Bellator. And I know when we originally talked about it, I couldn't think of her name, but we talked about her in the earlier episode, is kind of the person who beat Roxanne Modafferi is Lauren Murphy.
Lauren Murphy.
Lauren Murphy is on a rise right now, but I find it hard to believe maybe even she cracks the top 5, but she ain't beating Valentina Shevchenko.
No, definitely not. I don't know that she could beat Chikagian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's, again, lacking in that, ill intent towards your opponent. You know what I mean? Doesn't really hit that hard, but solid all around.
Solid all around fighter.
Her and Roxy went to war that last fight.
Mm-hmm.
And
she put it
solid win for sure, but had to take a good amount of damage. But yeah, I don't see her breaking the top 3 of the division for sure. You know what I mean? Because she's mainly a striker. So what happens if she got to face one of them hard hitters or the precision hitting like we know Chikagian,
Kukajian.
She ain't putting you out, but she's gonna put 100 punches on your face, and you gotta be able to defend that.
Yeah,
you know
exactly,
what I mean?
Exactly.
She's gonna get you with crazy volume and technique. So
because it doesn't need to hurt nor knock you out to win.
Right.
So.
And yeah, I mean, she took a lot of damage against Roxy, so I don't see that she could break through those top ladies.
Yeah, not at all.
But yeah, could be a star in Bellator.
And then the final division of, once again, another division I don't think they have is strawweight.
Right, but they can build up for sure.
To build up a strawweight division, the two fighters that jump in my mind, very similar skill set, Claudia Gadelha, Carla Esparza.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think Gadelha, in that last win over Angela Hill, which I don't think she won,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, showed that she's that perennial top 5, but no higher, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but still young, still getting better, still well-rounded, great personality,
Star quality,
brings
beautiful woman,
brings the fans in. Absolutely, she's like all over social media and stuff like that, always engaging with the fans. A Brazilian fighter who speaks perfect English, which we don't get often.
No.
You know what I mean?
But we're still with the beautiful accent.
Right, still with the nice little accent to it. Yeah, a lot of charm. I like that move a lot for her, and she could be a champ probably.
Oh, I wholeheartedly believe if she went to Bellator to start the division, she would definitely be a champ, especially if it was her and Carla Esparza. I like that competition. They're both
Absolutely.
wrestlers who can still strike.
Absolutely.
I think
Either
that they
one.
would do. I think it would be a great introduction for them into Bellator.
And also, I mean, I know she's fighting in the main event this weekend, but Michelle Watterson,
Yeah.
you know, like we said in the last episode, for talking about her main event, that she's not gonna crack through the top three. She's
gonna work her way down to the bottom of the top 10 as well.
Right, eventually, if she continues fighting the top women, you know what I mean? Unless she shows us something this weekend and beats Angela Hill, then I'm wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Then maybe Angela Hill's the one that should be in Bellator.
And I agree with that as well.
Because they both should be stars, because they both deserve to be stars.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is the point of this episode, because these people deserve their stardom.
Exactly.
They put in all this work.
And they deserve their money.
They deserve that
They
money.
go to Bellator and they're at the top of Bellator, they're getting paid.
Right, because, I mean, if you're the champion, you got to make a certain amount of money regardless. And especially in Bellator, he makes sure his champs are paid. But, if you're top 5 in the UFC, you're number 5, you might not be looking at anywhere close to what you could be making as a champion of Bellator.
Exactly.
That's a huge gulf.
Especially if you're under the top 5.
Yeah.
Like if you're that 6 through 10, 6 through 15, like you probably make enough money. You make the money to survive. You're making more than a guy who's working maybe construction.
Oh yeah.
But you're not making that top 5 money, and you go to Bellator, you instantly jump to top 5.
But we also know with the UFC that your ranking doesn't determine even your money. Like even your championship status doesn't determine your money to Dana White.
As well, yeah.
It's being interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Being the fighter that people, the draw.
The fans.
Yeah. If you're a draw, you don't even have to have a title fight to make good money.
Serious. Absolutely. You could be Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz and make a boatload.
Conor McGregor versus Cowboy Cerrone.
And make a boatload.
Make a boatload
right.
just because of your name.
Yeah, serious.
So I like all these picks. I would love to see all these people go to Bellator and really start getting their money's worth, earning those paychecks and bringing a light to a fight promotion that's ready to jump.
Yes.
They're ready to jump. They're doing $1 million tournaments to get people interested in Bellator. Could you imagine the likes of Claudia Gadelha or Kevin Lee making $1 million in a tournament? Like, it changes their life.
Absolutely. And I think this brings up we should do more episodes on other organizations. I think definitely we got to do an episode about the One Championship.
Yeah.
They got hurt from the pandemic because they were on the rise.
They were big
time on the rise. They started up again, but only slowly. They've had a few kickboxing events and stuff, but no big mixed martial arts fights yet or anything. But we should definitely do an episode just based on them. Plus, we got the PFL, the LFA.
Yeah,
We're
gonna have to start doing bonus episodes where we talk about other organizations. I like it a lot. We're trying to bring you as much content as we possibly can, and we're getting started right now. COVID ain't done, but we're back in action, doing it grimy and gritty out my living room, and we're hoping to get you as much content as possible. We really hope you like this bonus episode. UFC fighters we think we should go to Bellator. Check it out. Tell us some fighters maybe you think should go to Bellator. Tell us if you thought we were wrong about some fighters and why. We'd love to have a discussion with you all day, every day. So hit us up. And until next time, we'll see you in the octagon. Have a good night.
Peace.